Hello and welcome back to Mechanical Mastery. Today we are going to be looking at the mechanism 25 times ore processing that is offered in this pack, and it is going to be quite the ride. So let's jump right in. To get the boring stuff out of the way first, let's just take a look at the quest book here. It does show us the whole process, and it is kind of interesting how they set this up here. So you're going to need to read it from right to left, which is kind of opposite what we do here in the States. But I kind of set it up here for us too, to kind of see all the machines that we're going to need. So we're going to start with the chemical dissolution chamber. This is going to start by producing like a slurry for us. So if we look up any type of ore here, it's going to produce us dirty nickel. And what we need to do with that dirty nickel is put it through a chemical washer with either, it looks like honey, a few different things here. I think we can just use water though, which will wash the nickel into clean nickel. And then we're going to put that through a chemical crystallizer, and this is going to produce us a nickel crystal. With the nickel crystal, we're going to go into a chemical injection chamber with some salt, which is going to be a process in itself to make. So if we take a look at salt, which I have over here, the recipe to get salt is this gaseous brine, which is going to be quite the process to get. If we look at this, you got to decondentrate it, and then we got to get brine, which is made inside of this thermal evaporation condenser or controller, which is going to need water and heat to make the brine. So once you have brine, we should be able to make the salt, which we will use to chemically inject the nickel crystal to make it a nickel shard. And with the nickel shard, we are going to give it oxygen to be making nickel clumps. And the nickel clump will actually need to run through create to make us the crushed raw nickel, which has a chance of duplicating with 30% chance here. And then you need to, I believe, crush it again. Yes. We put it through a crusher to get us the dirty nickel dust. And then we put the dirty nickel dust through an enrichment chamber. And then, finally, if you stayed with me through all of that, it is going to be smelted and finally made into the ingot, which should be theoretically 25 time ore processing. So if you've been following along with me in the past episode, this is why we wanted to have this set up here with all of our patterns, because these recipes can get quite expensive. We need ultimate control circuits, refined obsidian, which we actually need to make a recipe for. So we're going to need to set up one more machine to send one refined obsidian dust with one osmium into an osmium compressor. So we need a spot to throw that down. I'm thinking I might just throw two of them down over here because there's a few different recipes that we're going to make with that. But yeah, all these recipes require quite a bit of mechanism here. So, but it's cool because you get to dive into all different mods. Like we're going to be using thermal and we're going to be using create, all in a one basic area here to get us our 25 times ore processing. So when you're making your pattern for your refined obsidian here, the only thing you have to really do is add osmium. And it is a 1-to-1 ratio. So just one osmium, one refined obsidian dust. We'll take this and we can bring it up here where I set up another crafting little station for us because I wanted it to be kind of tucked away. And this pattern can go in here, and this machine will be configured the same way as the other machines. So if we clear everything, the insert will be on the top, the extra will come from the back, and the output will be on the bottom. So we really just need an importer on the bottom here. So we'll get that started up, and I wanted to show you guys real quick how easy it is to upgrade these pipes. So if we get one reinforced alloy here, which we should be able to craft, we already have one, perfect. If we have one reinforced alloy, you can just click on the pipes, and now all of these pipes are now elite pipes, or at least most of them. So we are crafting a whole bunch of patterns here. There's a few things I wanted to note when making some of these patterns, specifically like the gears and really anything. You're just going to want to make sure you're using the one that you have. And what I mean by that is, like, say tin has multiple different ingots. So if we take a look, tin ingots, there's two different ones, thermal series and mechanism. So like when I'm making the gears, I want to make sure I'm using the ones from mechanism, because that's what we have 2000 of. Some other things here, the processing patterns that we're going to be doing here. The fluorite you're going to want to throw into your enrichment chamber, because you get 6 per one ore. And the we didn't make an osmium or a basic control circuit pattern, so we throw this in this one. It doesn't really matter, any of these would be able to do it, any metallurgic infuser. And then the rest just go into here. If I can get downstairs, here we go. So I had to make another crafter just in case, and doesn't look like we're needed just yet. Produce ourselves some salt, which is going to require this gaseous brine. And to get this gaseous brine, we need to decondentrate the regular brine. And to get regular brine, we're going to be going with a thermal evaporation machine here. It's a multi-block. So in the future, we're probably going to need 2 of them, because if we take a look at lithium, lithium here, it is produced with the same stuff here. So if we look at liquid lithium, it takes brine in another thermal evaporation machine. So I think we'll set these up over here, because they are kind of an awkward size. So it's a 4x4. The 2 middle blocks do get filled in, and then you can start building up. And it doesn't need to be crazy tall. We are going to use some of these on here. So it does need solar panels. It will work well in our situation here, because our world is completely daytime, which we set earlier on. We don't need too many of them, so that will do. And then we need to throw in a controller, so we can throw our magnet on real quick. Oops. There we go, the controller. And that will complete the multi-block for us. But we are going to need some ports. So I think our export port will be on this side, and our import will be on this side, because it does take water. So over here, we will need to set up some water. So if we get some building blocks here, we'll just use dirt for now. And we pop down here. We can throw ourselves in an aqueous accumulator, and we'll throw some water on either side. And we can fill this with, I believe, a mechanical pipe, which we do have, and we'll need our configurator. That goes right into there, and we'll set this to pull. So this should pull the fluid in, and it is already making us brine quite a bit of it pretty quickly. So on this side, we are going to need some machines. The rotary condensator is one of them. So I'll pull out with this, and that should start to fill this machine if we set this to the correct way. So it's got to be set to decondensatrate. It is going to need some power, so we can throw a gate on there. It should take a gate. There we go. And on the other side, actually, kind of want to... We'll throw the gate on this side, and we need a chemical crystallizer, which should be able to accept, because this can auto-eject. So the output will be on the right-hand side, auto-eject on. So this should accept... It's a liquid. Well, it's called gaseous brine, so I guess it's probably a gas. Input should accept from this side. Eject is on, output to the right. Oh, gases. Output to the right, eject on. There we go. And this will also need a gate. And we should be able to hook this in with an exporter, because now we're getting salt. So with this setup down here producing the salt, we are only step one in this process here, really, of getting 25 times ore processing set up. So step two is fairly simple. We are going to be needing some sulfur in various forms, mainly sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide, along with some water vapor. So in order to do that, it's fairly simple. I have been doing some testing. So you're going to need a rotary condenser and also a way to have infinite water. So if we set up over here just some infinite water, we should be able to get ourselves water pumped in via these mechanical pipes, just like this. And you just need a configurator to set that up. So this should be accepting water if we set it to this way, and producing water vapor. Then we are going to need a chemical infuser, which I did have this the other way before, so we're going to need a dropper. So let's get ourselves a gauge dropper, and we will be able to pull out this little bit of material that we have in here. So we have a little bit of water vapor here. We can actually just throw it onto this side, because we are going to have the items. So let's clear out the gases here. We are going to have the input be on this side for input 1, and input 2 will be on the other side. I believe that's the way it gets set up, and we'll be able to test that in just a moment here, because we're going to set up another one of these chemical infusers with a chemical oxidizer next to it. This is going to be fed the sulfur, so we do need an export bus on the bottom or on the side over here, because I kind of want to keep it, I don't know, I kind of want to have it not be panels because it doesn't fit in with my design here, but we'll see. So this will be exporting sulfur, and we can just hook this in for right now to get this up and running. So if we grab some cables, I'll just run this like this just to get it proof of concept up and running. So this should start to export our stuff once we get the items all set up. So input on the left hand side, and we do have sulfur, I believe, being produced. Hopefully it's the correct one. Let's see, thermal series, that's fine, should still work inside of here. I guess we can test it. Exporter. Should export. That does work. And it did put the sulfur dioxide inside of here. And the sulfur trioxide is made with sulfur dioxide as well as oxygen. So oxygen is really easy to set up. We can throw this here, an electrolytic separator. It's going to need some water, so we can kind of just run our cable like this, and I'll separate it here just for looks, and that should get it water, which will separate into hydrogen and oxygen, which I don't think we're going to need, because we need oxygen. I don't think we're going to need the hydrogen for right now, so I'm going to put this side to dump excess. The oxygen I do want to pump down, so this will be my output, I believe, hopefully 1. Silly me, I am not selecting gases here. So output 2, oxygen, should go with the gases here and be input 2. There we go. And now we're producing sulfur trioxide. So now we got to make sure the output for sulfur trioxide, which I believe is a liquid, I guess a gas because there's no liquid config on here, and we want our gases output to be right here. So sulfur trioxide will go there. and get imported in the gases in one. There we go. And that is making our sulfuric acid. So that is our end goal there. We are also going to need, so we want to make sure this is not ejecting to the top on any of these. Can't eject. We want to have one more electrolytic separator producing us just more oxygen because we are going to use oxygen in the 25 times ore processing. So you see here we need the sulfuric acid, the hydrogen chloride, which we're actually going to be doing salt, and the oxygen in the purification chamber. So in order to store these and use them later on very easily, I want to take a look at quantum entangled porters. So if we look at mechanism, quantum entangled porters, they are quite expensive, require this teleportation core, atomic alloys, and quite a bit, but we should be able to make them up fairly easy. So if we go over here, just as we've been doing this whole series, make us up some recipes. And we are going to need 2 of these for now. It would help if I threw them in there. Throw them up here. And we will get ourselves 2 of these if we can, which we can. It's going to take a moment to craft up. Let's take a look. Here's my crafting grid. And yeah, so it's going to take quite a moment to craft up. This all should be kicking on. And this will kind of let me show you guys another crafting recipes I did make. We have the tier upgrades. So if we start off with just the basic tier, I believe we have 5 machines here. Should be able to make those up real quick. And we can throw the basic tier onto these machines here. And what it will do is it will give us 3 slots each. So any operation, as long as you turn this auto sort on, will be done that much quicker. So you can go all the way up. So if we look at the next tier, which is you have basic, advanced. So we should be able to craft up 5 of those fairly easy too. It will just increase us even more. So we have one of them here. So you see we have 3 slots. If we put the advanced on, it changes color, and we get more spots. So we have 5 spots now. So yeah, we'll be upgrading pretty much all the way up to the ultimate, which gives you quite a few spots to play with, which is nice. But we should have our quantum entangled porters, and we will be able to use these to store specific things. So we are going to want to store our sulfur, which we can take out of the back here, actually. If I grab it, I can just break it with my hand. Just throw this down real quick before it starts. Oh, wrong spot. It actually didn't destroy the water though, which is nice. Alright, so throw that down there. And we want to make sure our output is going to be gas, and we want it to be on the back. But before we do that, we want to take a look inside of the quantum entangled porter, and you're going to want it to clear all these sides. There's quite a few of them, because the quantum entangled porter is a pretty special block. It can accept everything. It can accept energy items, liquids, fluid, gases, and slurries, energy, everything. So in our case, we're going to be doing gases. So kind of hard to tell which side is which. So if we just set our gases to input on all the sides here, as well as the front, it should accept our gas. And we are going to set this as sulfur. Try. So we have sulfur try saved. And we can select this, and now this is set to sulfur trioxide. So once we set this to, well, I guess it's sulfuric acid, so we should probably name it correctly. Sulfuric acid. So we'll set it sulfuric acid and set the output to the back. So the back is currently set to none. This will be our output, auto eject on. We should see this start to fill up with sulfuric acid. Unless it's a fluid? No, it did export. So it is inside of here. It is inside of the quantum entangleporter. We just don't have much of it, so it's kind of hard to tell how much we do have. But if you hold shift, there you go. We have 400 millibuckets in there. And on this one, we will actually throw this on the back as well. And this one is going to be for our oxygen. So we will set an oxygen type here. And this one will be set to oxygen, and the output for the oxygen gas will be on the back here. So if we do back output 1, well, it's not what we wanted. We wanted output 2. We should be able to clear this. So it has hydrogen in there now. I think if I delete this and redo it, should lose it. Yeah, there we go. Now it has oxygen in it. And we are all set. So we have this dumping the excess up here, and it is making our oxygen. We just need to throw a gate on it. And now we should have step 2 of our processes made here, with both of our liquids now being produced on both of our separate channels. Now that we have both of those prerequisites taken care of, we can start taking a look at what we're going to need to make 25 ore time or processing possible. It all starts with an acacia drawer. So I'm thinking we're going to set it up over here. There is 11 ores, so I'm not sure how the spacing is going to work with the whole crushing wheel thing. So that's going to be experimental. But we're going to start with the barrel, and we're going to go vertical with it. We got the energized smelter. We got the pulverizer. We have a crusher. We have a chute, which we're going to use for the crushing wheels. And then we have our crushing wheels, so we're going to need something to build with. And we can place these down. We want them to be on top of here. So, just like this, break this block. Actually, we're going to need that block to place the other chute. And we can actually place the crushing wheels with that there. So that will go like that. We'll break this dirt. And then we need a purification chamber. On the back of the purification chamber, we are going to need a source of water, I believe, in the purification chamber. Wait a minute, let's see. Let's look at nickel again. And we are looking at, I believe, nickel. Yeah, oh, oxygen. Oxygen inside of the purification chamber. So we will use this quantum entangleporter on this channel here. So set that to oxygen. Then we need the chemical injection chamber. And then we need the chemical crystallizer. And on the back of the chemical crystallizer, we're going to need an exporter. On the chemical washer, this is where you're going to need the water. So we'll get another quantum entangleporter. So what I did here is I just set a third one up on top of the accumulator here to accept water. So we are filled up on water now. And we can use this anywhere in our base, which is really nice. So this will be set to the water frequency. Set that. And last but not least is the chemical dissolution chamber, which you're going to also need a quantum entangler on the back, and this is going to use our sulfuric acid. So this should be the setup for 25 times ore processing. We're gonna have to reevaluate the height of this building here, which is no problem, because we are going to need to set this up. I think there's going to need to be a space between them, but let me get create ran up here and let's see. All right, I was able to get create ran over here actually fairly easily. It kind of looks a little funky over here, but it will do. We got a belt coming down, belt coming over, just a long shaft. That's what she said, and long belt up here over to the crushers. I made two more, and actually, so this is really good news. We can just place them right next to each other, so this should make our set pretty compact. Actually, we should be able to just go straight in a line here, because there is 11 ores we're going to process. But now it is time to configure these. So this is really easy. We could just do salt right in the back. Not that, salt. This one, we already set it to water. We need it to eject fluids. I'm just going to set everything to an output just to make my life easy. Auto eject will be on, and that fills that with water. The same thing will go for this one, except it's a gas. And eject. Sulfuric acid is going in there. We aren't making any though. What are we empty on? Sulfur trioxide is not sending. Input 1. Oh no, it's not getting water vapor. Is this exporting? Gases. Output is on that side. That's not correct. Continue on with this. So we got the sulfuric acid in here. We got the water in here. This is going to accept salt, which we're going to need to run a cable up the back here at least once before we can run it along our line. The chemical injector, so we can start do these as well. So this is just going to be items. Well, this is going to be a liquid in this case up at the top. So what we'll do is gases, slurries, there we go. The top doesn't matter, the bottom will be output. We'll put auto eject on. The top on this one for slurries will be input. The output will be on the bottom. And we can, well, input, output, auto eject on. There we go. Chemical crystallizer will accept slurries on the top, which is an input, and then it's going to switch over to items, which we're going to output on the bottom. Auto eject on, and this is all items, so we could just switch this to output. Auto eject on. Last one here. This one needs to be set up with oxygen, so we got a gas here. All of these set up. Auto eject on should fill this with oxygen, and we just need to put the items in on input on the top, output on the bottom. The crusher is easy. It's going to run through this chute, be crushed, put through this chute into the top of this crusher, which has an input there, and output on the bottom. Pulverizer will get an input on the top and an output on the bottom. We need to make sure this is all enabled. And the final one is going to be the energized smelter. So we will do auto eject on, input on the top, output on the bottom, and this is going to go into our acacia barrel. So let me get refined run up here, and we are coming to a head here. And finally, with this monstrosity set up, I did figure out what was going on with the infuser here. I also sped them up. So on this side here, I did not have it set correctly. This was set to input output as opposed to input 1, and this one was input not set to input 2. We're all set now. We are now producing our sulfuric acid, and we should be able to grab 3 iron, raw iron, and start by throwing it in here. This is going to produce the slurry if I put gates on it, so we're going to need a bunch of gates. I should have some produced. I do. And so let's see. Let's do it one at a time. So we have that produced a slurry, which went into here. So we have dirty iron slurry, which is now producing clean iron slurry. Very slowly at the looks of it, which is getting imported into here. Just going to make us iron ore, it looks like. So let's speed upgrade that. Let's get some speed upgrades in our inventory, just so we can kind of see what's going on here. Definitely going to want to get some energy upgrades started soon, because we're going to be burning a lot of power doing this. So this is making our dirty iron. The water should be filling up. Set the water. This should have water in it. Is it not accepting water from the back? Input. Is this not ejecting? Fluids, eject on. There we go. Alright, so that's filled up. So we got clean iron slurry, which is going to produce, it looks like iron ore. Let's see, or it's going to produce iron crystals, I think. There we go, an iron crystal. So the iron crystal is going to use this salt, which is making the hydrogen chloride directly inside the machine. I think that's honestly going to be just fine. We'll throw some speed upgrades in here, get this moving along. And we already have, just from this far, we have 10. So let's get a gate on here. That is also going to need speed upgrades. Ooh. Yeah, that actually is quite slow. Are we running low on this? Is it just not producing it quick enough? Looks that way. Should be able to speed upgrade this. Grab a few more. I knew we were going to need quite a few this episode. Alright, so that's going in there. That looks like we're going to need a few more. Yeah, the salt here is definitely not keeping up. We're going to definitely be transforming it, or crafting it into its other form, the hydrogen chloride. So we'll do that in a moment. But we should still be able to see the proof of concept of this. So if we throw our gate down, it's going to produce with the oxygen, the iron shard here. And it should get crushed up or purified into an iron clump, which goes through this and gets crushed down into crushed iron ore. So this is going to need a gate as well, and this will go through its process, and we'll speed all of this up as we go along here. I'm almost out of speed upgrades. So the crusher will go down to the pulverizer. Pulverizer will get power, making its dirty iron dust into I don't know yet, iron dust. And the iron dust finally gets smelted. And all these lab machines, I'm going to turn some of this stuff down into its iron ingot. So that is essentially almost 25 times ore processing. That is because in the pulverizer, we're going to need to use one of these catalysts. And I think we're going to need to use this one, the enriched balsalic regent. So that's going to be quite the process. We're definitely not going to get that up and running today, but I would like to get this line of machines done here. So that hydrogen chloride shouldn't be too hard to make here. So what I did was I set up an electrolytic separator on top of our rotary condenser thing we had set up over here, producing salt. We'll still produce salt just to have, and we will have this dumping the excess sodium, as well as a chemical infuser right next to it, which will accept the chlorine, and it's going to need to be fed hydrogen. So what I did was I set up our quantum entanglement porter, our quantum entangle porter, to accept hydrogen. So this should be able to output to the left hand side, the gas, and we'll put that on auto eject, and there we go. And we're just gonna need to slap some gates on, and we're producing hydrogen chloride. And the way I will get this in here is throwing one more gate, and we will name it just hydroclo. And here we are. We have all the machines crafted up. It took quite a bit and quite a bit of materials, but I did want to show you guys something pretty cool with the configuration card. I don't know where mine went. Oh, right here in my inventory. So what you could do is you can copy and paste all of the configurations to every one of these machines, and it's as simple as that to get these all set up. I won't let you misclick because you can't copy and paste them onto different types of machines. So if I try to click here, it will say unequal to the configuration form. With that all set up, it brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. We are definitely going full steam ahead. We're gonna get these machines up and running with ultimate tier processing, and it's going to be pretty crazy. So if you guys are into that, definitely click that subscribe button. And if you guys are wanting to see something different or see some more of any mods in this pack or any pack in particular, definitely let me know in the comments below. I hope to see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.